What's up guys, Hybrid Mongoose here. In today's video we're going to talk about a collection of figures that I could not pass up and I kind of accidentally purchased. So I'm wondering if this has happened to anybody else. I accidentally purchased an entire collection of vintage Kenner early 90s Predator figurines. Now this is something that I did not have as a child, but the second I saw it, I don't know if anybody else has had this happen to you. You are just flooded with nostalgia and all of a sudden you just can't figure out why, but you're drawn to this certain item and you're like, I need to buy that. There's something about that is I'm sort of remembering I need to have this. Well, it actually turns out that those same line of Kenner Predators were actually the same line of Kenner Aliens that I actually owned when I was a child, which is actually crazy. So these would have been the actual Predators that I would have purchased to fight the aliens during that same exact time period. And we actually had the Mantis alien, the Flying Queen, which I actually do. I don't have the Mantis, but I do have the Flying Queen loose right now. This vendor had 7 mint on card Predator vintage figures just sitting there, and they had a sign that said $10 each. And I was looking at it, and he could tell that I was kind of interested, obviously. And he goes, "Hey, if you buy all 7 of those, I will throw in the Blade Predator vehicle for free." And I'm looking at this whole, this entire table full of figures, and I'm going, And he goes, "How about 60? And I said, "How about 50? And he said yes, and that was it. I actually got the entire thing for $50. And you're gonna see that on the screen of everything that I got. It's insane. It's insane. And everybody knows it's a collector. The second you buy something, it kind of opens the floodgates for you to now start collecting those things. Like, hey, I'm not a G.I. Joe collector, but I bought 1 G.I. Joe. Next week, I buy 10 G.I. Joes. So what I did notice, though, is when I got home, I realized, hey, these are the same exact line of Kenner Predators that I would have gotten when we got in our Kenner Alien. So I was like, oh, that's really cool that, this is actually the same Predators. That's why I was drawn to it. It's like my unconscious brain knew for some weird reason. So I pick up all of these Predators. I get home. I realize the connection and why I was so drawn to these things in the first place. And that got me thinking, I wonder how many are left to actually finish the collection. How many are left that I need? And it turns out there's a couple more, but in terms of the actual waves, I only needed 3, which was the Stalker Predator, the Laser Point Predator, and the Ambush Predator, which was a mail-away figure. So I ended up actually getting all 3 of those. The Stalker one is actually amazing. It was the first one that I got, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. The Laser Point one, or Laser Point, I keep saying Laser Point, it's Laser Shot one. That one was actually towards the end of the line. And there's some Hive Wars things that were coming out at 96, 98 that I didn't get, and then there's also a 10-inch figure of the Predator that I don't have. So there's maybe 3 things that I'm missing. There's 3 figures, 2 from Hive Wars and this large size Predator, but I can wait to get those. I got the initial waves, so pretty much got all the Predators vintage Kenner from between 1992 and 1994-ish area. So what was really cool is I actually got the Stalker Predator. He glows in the dark. He's amazing. The Laser Shot Predator, really cool graphics on this. I love how it looks. It looks really awesome. And then the Ambush Predator, which it comes in a mail-away bag. So I actually found the entire thing, and you're going to see kind of a montage of stuff coming up here of how I actually got the figure. I found an artist, and I'll leave it down in the description below. Shout out to him, that he actually created this, cardback art for a buddy of his because the Ambush Predator does not have its own actual vintage, packaging. So I ended up having to create my own. It's not perfect. It looks very convincing. There are some ripples in the glue, from the poster board. I learned a lot doing this. I was able to take one of the other figures, the Berserker Predator, which is actually a newer a newer Predator, so I was actually okay with opening him up. And he was like from 2019 or something like that. I opened him up, you know, and actually, you know, set him up on the wall up there. But he's a really cool figure, but he's newer, so I was like, I'm gonna harvest this one and use the actual bubble and the packaging to start creating my own. So yeah, you'll see here that I actually went through the whole process. I actually retro brighted the figure as well. He was yellow, and spent overnight in 12% peroxide and got that all done. And yeah, so it's really, really cool to actually get this. You know, I have all these Predators. I started to get some of the aliens as well. You know, I'll quickly show you some of those, but you know, I don't have all of those. I have the first wave of the actual aliens that were released by Kenner, but not including the Marines. The Marines are probably, you know, the humans I'm probably going to get last. But yeah, it's just so funny. This deal came up. I don't know why I was so drawn to it. And $50 is an absolute steal. I think I totaled up about $190 if I were to piece each one of these things out and actually sell them on eBay. I would have made all that money. So anyway, guys, collecting is a weird thing, and it's funny how you're drawn to certain things. But yeah, has this ever happened to you? Leave it down in the comments below. And that's going to do it for the video, guys. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.